to describe, as best I can, my perspective and understanding of all that is, of Source, of God, and of our relationship to it. Because I think that this is a very powerful and expansive perspective that can help you understand the nature of reality and your true nature better. So we have to realize, let's, for a moment, pretend there is no form at all. Nothing. There's absolutely nothing. There's no universes exist. No energy exists. There is nothing. There is absolutely nothing. And there's no space. There's no time. There's just absolutely nothing at all. What exists when there is nothing? Only awareness. Awareness of existence. Awareness of I exist. Awareness of the potential to create anything. There's no space. There's no time. There are no mental constructs. There is nothing. Nothing at all. Just awareness of existence. If there ever was a starting point, which there wasn't, but if there ever could be an imagined starting point for our minds to comprehend, it would be this place right here. Essentially a single point of awareness with limitless potential. That's what Source is. It is formless, loving, intelligent, creative awareness. And it has always existed, and it will always exist. And there is no not existing. And we know this because something exists. If nothing existed at all, if there was no form, if there was no experiences of anything, if there was no consciousness, there would just be nothing. And to think about it, it really is as simple as the idea of there could have been nothing at all, forever. There could have been nothing. And yet there is something. And that something implies everything. And the fact that it all exists, everything possible exists. Everything that could ever be imagined already exists right now in this timeless, formless awareness of existence. And now we have to understand how this single point of awareness is creating everything. And that's where we have to realize that it's not creating physical things. Because what this formless thing is consciousness. It is consciously, you could say, meditating all of existence from an infinite number of perspectives and unique expressions of itself, because it's the only thing that exists, and it's not a thing, but again, for our language and for the ease of understanding in our mind, the only thing that exists is this awareness. And it has constructed a perfect existence from which every unique expression of itself has complete free will to create whatever that expression could ever want to experience. So this source of all that is, the all, the absolute, which has always existed, will always exist, has always been creating. Always. There was never a beginning to creation. Again, think about the Bible and things like that talk about the beginning of creation. It was just a point of reference to help humanity in humanity's evolution to start to understand the concept of God, the concept of this universe, the concept of things beginning, because they couldn't comprehend the idea of eternity. The fact that eternity has no beginning and no end. Therefore, it is but one single moment of awareness that exists forever. And within this single moment exists all possibilities, exists all potential experiences. So it is both complete and never ending at the same time. And what we must then come to realize is that this single point of awareness is within you, as it is within all beings, as it is within every particle in existence. And yes, universes have beginnings, and they have ends, if they want to. And there are also probably timeless universes. Or you can experience a universe that has existed at some point, at any time, because if it still exists, it still exists, right? If it existed at one point, you can still go back and experience it if you'd like to, so to speak, go back. But eventually, your consciousness, which is one with all consciousness, but in this experience of individuated consciousness, which is again just an experience within the totality of consciousness, which is always one consciousness, because there's only one source and there's only one source of consciousness. And so all consciousness is connected, and yet we get to have the experience of individuated consciousness. But your consciousness is evolving endlessly expanding into new experiences. And that doesn't mean every experience is going to be pleasant. Because as you expand into something unfamiliar, especially when we go into experiences where we forget who we are to have very unique experiences, there is going to be challenges, there is going to be uncertainty, there is going to be doubt, there is going to be fear. But all of these things are ultimately an illusion, because they are only created when we go into experiences where we don't know who we are. And every time you go into an experience where you forget who you are and you have to rediscover it, you will always rediscover it. It may not be in this first experience, right? Let's say this is the first experience you're having of this new reality, or this new universe, or this new planet, or this new species, whatever. You may not find yourself again. You may not find your oneness with Source and your self-realization again in that first, what we call incarnation or lifetime. But it doesn't end when this incarnation ends, right? because you continue on. Every single time that we do this, we inevitably, 100% of the time, will be eventually guided back to our sense of oneness and self. And so, understand, source, all that is formless awareness. And it is but one self, one source, one consciousness. And you can think of different parts of it, meaning different perspectives from which it is operating. When we go into an experience where we forget who we are never alone. We are never doing it alone, ever, because it is safe, and we do not want to leave ourselves hanging. So even when we go into deeply fearful and painful and traumatic experiences like humanity has been experiencing for thousands of years, all of it has been guided by the perspectives of us, because it's all us, that want to help us. There is always the perspective of yourself, of source, that is guiding each part of its creation, each unique perspective. So this is what we could call the higher self. You could just say source is guiding you. You could call it your spirit guides. You could call it whatever the hell you want. There is a loving, guiding force, a loving, guiding perspective that is always making sure that you are being guided to your highest good, making sure that the life that you need to live for your development, for your evolution, because we are doing this for evolution. We are doing this for growth and expansion and change. And we're doing it for love. To expand love. And it's just always being guided. So there is always that higher part guiding the lower part. And again, higher and lower is just perspective. That's all it is. We're saying, there's a perspective that sees you from like a top-down perspective. It knows all the pathways. It knows what you need. And it allows you to have free will at the same time. So you have the free will to perceive things, to make choices. But then it is always guiding you to your highest good. It is always guiding all the parts that need to happen. So if you are not following your alignment, and let's say you're doing things because you think you have to do them, or because you think you're required to, because we live in this society, in this world with expectations and standards, and we're raised a certain way and fed ideas of what you should be, or what makes you a good person, or whatever. That is always, actually, let's move on to another part. Because every time that you start to go down a path that you think you have to go down because you think that that's what is expected of you, or that you think that it's the right way, even though it doesn't really resonate with your heart. It doesn't really excite you. You just think that this is what's available. This is what I got to do to take care of myself, because you're worried about your survival and just trying to fit in, just trying to be approved of, all these different things. That higher part of you is always guiding you back to your heart's desires. But a lot of people resist this because they take on beliefs and perspectives that suggest that they're not allowed to follow their heart, that they're not allowed to do that. And what you then must come to understand is that your unique expression is wanting to explore what it is like to feel controlled. That there are lessons and wisdom to be guided and learned and gleaned from this experience. So all of it is being used for your highest good. Even when someone lives a life in which they feel very controlled, it is always being used for the highest good. It is always being, none of it is wasted. There is no such thing as a wasted life. Source does not waste anything. There is nothing to be wasted. So to understand yourself in regards to all that is, you are one with that single point of awareness. And you can see that what has been created here is following certain laws. There are certain laws in place that all universes follow, even if the structure or what is being explored through consciousness, like what types of things could be explored, what types of relationships could be explored, what type of form can be explored. It's all part of this perfect universal set of laws. And this set of laws dictates continued change and transformation that is conducive to continual expansion. And it is also designed to honor the free will of each unique perspective of source. To each unique perspective of an infinite number of perspectives. The law of one is what allows us to have relationship with each other and free will, and for us to learn, always be learning and moving towards unconditional love and acceptance of others. And every time we lose our way and get lost in control, either controlling others or being controlled, we are always moving back towards sovereignty and freedom. And so if you look at the course of humanity's history and you see how there used to be much, much, much more control, and now there's still examples of control all over the place, but we do feel a lot more free than before. But we also have the understanding that we're not feeling totally free. But that is where we're moving. That is where we are heading. And our ability to express these ideas and express these understandings freely is indication that we are moving towards that we are getting closer and closer towards, I mean, there are people in the world who, not a lot of people, but a few people, who probably feel extremely free. There is a very small percentage that feel that way now. And in a way, that is the consciousness that is leading us towards more of that, right? And understand that these people are not people who control others. They are people who feel free in themselves, and they love allowing others to be free. That's true freedom. If you think about people who are trying to like control people and you think that they're free because they have a lot of power and wealth and that idea of things, they're not really free. They're still being controlled from within. They think they have to control others in order to have freedom. And that's not real freedom. It's illusory. It's not real. Real freedom is feeling free within yourself and loving the freedom that others have. It is all of that. And so anything within you that feels controlled or feels the need to control, that is what we are learning from to help us move towards more freedom and sovereignty. And the reason humanity is going through this is for their highest good. This is part of the evolution of humanity's consciousness. And humanity is a naturally occurring species from this universe. And right now, consciousness is exploring and experiencing humanity. We are exploring and experiencing the evolution of humanity. And that means we are helping humanity evolve, helping humanity helping the species, which move from a more unconscious, primal, instinctual level of consciousness into self-realization, sovereignty, and freedom. Knowing who they are in eternity, knowing who they are in the universe, and then expanding consciousness from there. And it just keeps going. And so we have to understand everything is consciousness. Energy is just a way of understanding and experiencing how the formless and the form co-create. How the form comes out of the formless. How the formless is navigating the form. And so you could say form exists forever, but form is not solid. It's not physical. It's not the source of existence. The source of existence is formless. It's within. It's all within. It's not out there. It's within. Right? The external is just an experience, and that doesn't mean it's wrong or bad, or that you can't enjoy it a lot. You can enjoy it a lot. But the source of all well-being, the source of all feeling, the source of all experience comes from within. The source of all is right in here. It has never left you. It can never leave you. It is always with you. It is with every being. It is with every iota of existence. Always. Because this being is limitless. It is within every single unique perspective of itself. All of the divine intelligence and awareness is within all of existence. And it is powerful. And it is potent. And we are really just understanding how to move into the tremendous potential that humanity has. Humanity's potential is limitless. And we are just moving towards that. We're moving from extreme limitation to extreme limitlessness over a very, 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 very long period of time. A very, very, very long evolution. So it's okay to take your time. It's okay to relax. It's okay to enjoy what humanity has to offer right here and now. It's okay. It's safe. You came here for this experience. You're designed to experience this and enjoy it. Your unique blueprint for this incarnation is designed to enjoy this. Once you allow yourself to, and that's part of your evolution. So, as one unique expression to another, I love you, and I accept you. And I'll see you in the next one.